Hi, this is Charlotte Munoz. I am a third grade teacher here at Scott, and I am here to teach you how to use Flipgrid. So, the first thing you need to learn to do is log in and sign up an account. So I'm going to walk you through that really quick. First of all, once you get to flipgrid.com, you are going to click the blue button at the very top that says Educator Sign Up. It's going to give you a couple options to sign up. You should click Sign Up with Google. It should pop up with another box to give you a choice of email addresses to sign up with. Please make sure that you sign up with the one that ends with tps501.org. That will connect your Flipgrid with our school email, and that'll make life a lot easier for you when it comes to making videos and posting them for the kids. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make your first grid. When you are in Flipgrid for the first time, you'll see everything that you're seeing on my screen, except you will not see these grids down here. These are things that you create. For your first grid, I would click Add New Grid. A grid is basically a classroom in Flipgrid. Since those of us at Scott teach two different sets of classes, you should have two different grids. So I would name your grid your homeroom or your partner's homeroom. So I would say Mrs. Elias's homeroom or Mrs. Munoz's homeroom. That would make life a lot easier to organize these grids for you and keep students a little bit separated when it comes to grading. I'm going to name mine Example Grid because I'll be using this grid in a few more instructional videos for you. You have 3 different choices of grid types. You can choose to sign up kids with their school email, which just means anybody who has an email that ends with @tps501.org, including the students, should be able to sign up with their school email. This could be a little bit trickier for the smaller kids. Your second option is to sign students up with their student ID. I've done this one in the past, and it's where you go in and you put in their student IDs beforehand along with their names, and then every time they post a video, their password is their student ID, and it automatically shows up with their name. That's easier for the older kids to do and for them to be able to remember their password, but for the little kids, again, it can be a little bit tricky. Educator Learning Community has been my favorite option of the 3 as of most recently. It just means that anyone who has your grid has access to it, but you can also add a password to it. So this is the one that I tend to use the most often. So if you click on Educator Learning Community, you'll see below that this is your flip code. And your flip code you can change to personalize you. So I could say, La clase de Señora Munoz, and then it says it's available, and I'd be able to click Next. Instead, if you want, you can leave it blank. That way, Flipgrid will automatically generate a random code. For me personally, it doesn't really matter what it says because this isn't something the kids will be reading. Your flip code is just something that you would use to copy and paste into your Google Classroom or your virtual classroom, Seesaw, Dojo, whatever it is that you're using. You'll copy and paste it in there, and the kids would be able to access your grid and any topic that's on your grid from that code. Go ahead and click on Next. It's going to ask if you want to add a password. I would always recommend adding a password because remember, when you're using Educator Learning Community, anybody has access to this grid. So I've kept mine pretty simple. Click Next. And then your grid is ready. Again, you can see your flip code shows up down here. You can copy that and paste it directly into your Google Classroom. So go to your grid, and this is what your grid is going to look like. In order to personalize your grid, you can click this Edit button, and you can go all the way down towards the bottom. This is where you can change your password. And then you can decide if your grid is going to be active or hidden. If it's active, your students are able to see it. If it's hidden, nobody will be able to find it. But it is something, instead of deleting your grid, you can always reactivate it again next year and just delete all the videos that have been done. You can choose whether you want to see notifications for your grid every day, every week, every time there's a new video, or never. You can choose whether or not your students are allowed to download and share their videos. So this would be something cool. If they have control over their own Seesaw, they can download this and add it to their portfolio on Seesaw or Dojo. You can allow students to receive notifications in their email when you post new topics. And you can also choose whether your captions are in English or any other language. I have mine set in Spanish, but when I do have students that speak in English in some of their videos, I can go in and set those individual captions to English at a later time. You can also personalize your grid, so you can pick from pictures. You can upload a picture of your own, or you can pick from pictures that they provided. They have different categories that you can pick from. And then you click Update Grid. Now you know how to create a grid. This will be where you store your topics and all of the ways that you're able to communicate with your students.